do appreciate you guys. It has been a minute. It has been some time, guys. There's been a lot of updates happening in my life. We recently just got back surgery. So for the lack of leaks, I do apologize, guys. But unfortunately, we do got to put our health first. We got to put our recovery first. But with that being said, I am here still trying to make sure I give you guys the right content, the right entertainment, everything for the community, guys. With that being said, I appreciate you guys for being here, and let's get this party started, guys. We're gonna be reviewing a lot of teams, guys. We're gonna be reviewing a lot of teams here. All right. With that being said, gentlemen, we are now starting off with League 58. We have two teams to review here. It is going to be Chiefs Elite. Where's he at, real quick? Chiefs. All right, perfect, guys. I know last YouTube video was a little stricter. I'll try to be a little nicer, but no promises, guys. No promises. I'm basically rating this based on how these teams are. All right. If we take a look at the draft results, right? Let's take a look at Chiefs Elite. All right. He does not have a future first round pick. All right. So he traded his 2027 first round pick. Let's go ahead and see how his team is. All right. He's done a lot of trades. When I see trades, that's a great sign. That's an amazing sign. Well, it's a good trade, bad trade, doesn't matter. Trades are good. Dart as your quarterback one is fantastic. You have Stafford as your quarterback two, which is amazing. And you have Ty Simpson as your quarterback three. Now, in case, Dart gets injured, because Dart is very injury prone, I'd be very worried about that. Not only that, on bye weeks, I would also be worried about that. You're basically guaranteed to lose both your bye weeks based on you having only two quarterbacks. You kind of put yourself in a tough position. So your quarterbacks, even though I like them, they're still lacking because you don't have a third quarterback. One second, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying the music. We're gonna be changing it up now. We're gonna be putting out some chill music. Football season's coming up, so we're gonna try to calm the chaos, and then we'll go from there. Your running backs with K9, Dave Montgomery. It's not bad at all, man. But then you also have Kenneth Gainwell as your running back three in your flex spot. I don't love that for you. Your running backs are definitely on the weaker side because you don't have a third running back that you can fully trust. Your wide receivers are Jason, Puka Nacua, AJ Brown. That's a beautiful wide receiver trio set. But then your flexes, man, we go to Jonah Coleman and Kenneth Gainwell. This team does not have a future first round pick. So that means you have to be competing. And if you have Kenneth Gainwell and Jonah Coleman on your bench, on your flex room, that is a recipe for disaster, my friend. Recipe for disaster. Your flexes are very weak. Your running backs are weak. You don't have a quarterback three. That's on the weaker side. George Kittle is a good tight end. Don't get me wrong, but he's injured. So your tight end is also on the weaker side. You have Emmett Johnson, Williams, Malachi, Brandon Ayuk, Keenan Mitchell, Hurst. I like the bench because it has upside, but you don't need upside because you already traded away your future first round pick. You need some players that you can really trust to put there because Kenneth Gainwell and Jonah Coleman are not going to give you the points. Let's just say Monty gets injured, right? Who else are you going to trust on your bench? This team is confusing me. Like I said, guys, a team needs to have an identity. This team doesn't have a quarterback three. This team doesn't have a solid running back three that you can fully trust. This team doesn't have good flexes. This team doesn't have a good bench. This team doesn't have a good tight end. The team is, unfortunately, as much as I want to be positive about this team, I feel like what you should have done, Chiefs, to be totally honest, man, you should have kept your future first round pick. I think you should try to trade for your future first round pick now. I think you should trade away George Kittle, AJ Brown, Dave Montgomery, Kenneth Walker, and Matthew Stafford. And I think you should go on the younger side. Unfortunately, this team is very confusing because it doesn't have an identity, especially when it's trying to compete this year and you don't have a future first round pick. I think I'm gonna have to give this team probably a 2.1, Chiefs. 2.1. I'm not saying this out of any bias, hatred, love, even if you're cool with me. I'm saying this out of what I see from your team. And from what I'm seeing, I don't like your flex room. I don't like the fact you don't have a quarterback three. I don't like the fact you don't have a good running back three. I don't like the fact you don't have a healthy tight end. And I don't like the fact you don't have a future first. What I would recommend, man, is I would try to trade JSN or Puka Nacua and get a stronger flex. That's what I would do, because you're trying to compete this year and you're not getting competing with Kenneth Gainwell and Jonah Coleman in your flex room. With that being said, shout out to you for being here. I truly do appreciate you. We're now going to go forward to Esteban's team, guys. Esteban, shout out to you for being here, man. Esteban has done some trades as well. That's a very good sign. He has all his future first round picks, so he can do a lot with his team here. He can do a lot with his team here, especially with his first futures being attached. Now he did trade up to get Ashton Genty in the first round. That means he ended up losing his 2.1 on that, as well as his seventh round. So he moved up to get Ashton Genty. But to be honest with you, I don't know if I like Ashton Genty a lot. But Hampton at the 2-1 is not a bad pick at all either. You know, is it worth giving up, you know, Hampton and Brian Thomas for Ashton Genty and Jaden Higgins? You know, you always got to think about the other perspective of the trade. But what I do like is you went in ahead and took your guy. That's always a good sign. You have Lamar Jackson, CJ Stroud, and you don't have a third quarterback. So you know what I'm going to say, man? Your quarterbacks are weaker. Genty and Jenkins are going to be phenomenal running backs. I love that running back squad for you. Ted, Jordan, Tyson, amazing wide receivers. Likely conflicted because Theo Johnson is still there. People are saying, oh, it's going to be likely show. We thought it was going to be a Kincaid show. And look what happened with Kincaid. Wandell, Watson, Higgins. What I will say is because you have your future first round pick, this team can actually somewhat compete, man. So I would maybe try to trade my future first round picks to get a stronger flex 3 because I don't know if Jaden Higgins can really be that guy for you. But Christian Watson is the wide receiver 1 in my opinion with Green Bay. Wandell confuses me as well, man. Just went to a worse team than the Giants. Now is a 2 there. Has to, you know, get thrown the ball by Cam Ward. Confuses me. Monangai, Boston, AJ Barner, Tyler Algier, Mike Washington, Aaron Rodgers. I guess you have Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback 3. I still don't like it because he's very old. He could get injured in one play. I don't like that. Horton. What I'll say is your bench does have upside, man. I like the fact you have Boston. I like the fact you have Washington, Horton. I like the fact you have Thornton as well. Your bench has a lot of upside. I think the only weakness on this team, to be honest, is the flex room because your quarterbacks are very with Aaron Rodgers even are, you know, decently solid. Your running backs are amazing. Your wide receivers are amazing, and your flexes are the ones that need work. To be honest with you, what I would say is trade your future first round picks to get better flexes. But I don't mind the team, man. I'll give this team probably a 6.2. 6.2 out of 10, Esteban. I like the fact you made trades, bro. I like the fact you made trades. Good job on that. All right, we're now going to go to League 59, guys. We're going to League 59 now. For the people that didn't get reviews, by the way, don't forget, if you do not do the simple steps that I ask, which is literally... Can you share the screen? Oh my God, shoot. Thank you. Oh my God. Guys, I was gonna mess up again. Shout out to W Buck for being here and telling us that our screen is not shared, guys. I appreciate you guys. All right, with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at this team, gentlemen. Look at this team. All right, we're reviewing Jay Johnson's team, guys. Jay Johnson's team. All right, he does not have his future first round pick, but he has 2 third round picks, 3 third round picks next year. So let's go ahead and see how that team is going to be looking here, right? Jay Johnson. It does look like he has made trades, and I always tell people, man, trades are an amazing thing. Trades are a phenomenal thing. With that being said, Jay Johnson's team. Let's go ahead and take a look at his team real quick. All right, T-Law as your quarterback is going to be phenomenal. Sam Darnold is all right. And you don't have a quarterback 3, man. I always tell people, man, you need a quarterback 3. So for that reason, your quarterbacks are on the weaker side. Jeremiah Love and Kenneth Walker are going to be great running backs for you. Jamar and Devontae are going to be great wide receivers. Hale Fanning is going to be a great tight end. Tuden, I see the upside. Corum and Boston, these are going to screw you over right here. Corum is still going to be the running back 2. Boston, there's going to be a lot of wide receivers there. I don't know what his value is exactly going to be. You do have Scary Terry, so I'm guessing you're going to play Scary Terry for Boston, but you still have Blake Corum that you have to deal with, and from the looks of it, you don't only have anyone that could take over Blake Corum's flex spot. Blake Corum isn't someone you can trust. Yes, last year, he ended the year pretty strong with 14 points, 26, 13, 13. But then he also had a 1-point game, a 7-point game. So you have to be very, very careful with Blake Corum because people are hyping him up, saying maybe he could overtake Kyron. But I don't think he's gonna be overtaking Kyron. But you do have Terry McLaurin, Jonathan Brooks, Zakarian Branch, Carson Beck, Terrence Ferguson. What I will say about this team is, man, I do like your running backs, your wide receivers, your tight end, but your flexes and your quarterbacks are on the weaker side. And your bench is what I want to see from the bench, by the way. I would like a quarterback here, of course, but if I like that you have one safe player with Scary Terry, and the rest are upside players with Jonathan Brooks, Zakarian Branch, Tank Bigsby. I don't like the Diggs pick there, but Jalen Royals. I like the fact you took upside after taking one safe player there. I don't mind that whatsoever for you. With that being said, this team is on the lower side, to be honest with you. I'm gonna give this team probably a 4.9 because of the weak flexes, because of the weak quarterback 3 room as well. Shout out to Johnson for being here. 4.9, my brother. I appreciate it. All right, with that being said, we're going to go to League 60 now, guys. 3 people wanted a review in League 60. Let me go ahead and take a look at that. Draft results. Perfect. All right, guys. In League 60, Nevermind was the first person that wanted the team review. Let's go ahead and take care of Nevermind's team real quick. Nevermind, you do have 2 second-round picks. So I hope you didn't go crazy and draft all old players. I hope you didn't do that. Right? You did do a lot of trades, and I do like that. Guys, if my energy isn't crazy high, I'm on a lot of pain meds right now. I apologize. I just had surgery recently, so I'm trying here. All right. J Love, Tyler Show, Jared Goff. Love the quarterback room. You have a solid quarterback 3 in case Show or Jordan Love get injured. I love that. Scatterbo and Ramondre. I don't mind Scatterbo at all, but then Ramondre as a running back 2 does scare me a lot. Neighbors and Drake London are elite. Goddard, this year he'll be fine, but next year it's Stowers season. Next year Eli Stowers is going to be the guy. Ted McMillan, Garrett Wilson, Jordan Tyson, amazing flex room. Amazing flex room. Jaden Reed, Pollard, Godwin. I see the vision here. Because you're trying to still compete, right? You're trying to still compete. But what I would recommend is, man, you have 2 future first-round picks. Okay, trade one of them and get a running back 2. This is a very, very solid squad. Never mind, very solid squad. The wide receivers are great. The quarterbacks are great. The tight end is good for this year. The flexes are great. The bench is, has safe players as well. I like this team, but you need a running back 2 on this team. Make sure you go ahead and trade one of your future first and get a running back 2, like a Jadarian Price, like a Travis Etienne. Go ahead and give up a first-round pick for that, like a Kyron Williams. With that being said, I do like this team. I'm gonna give this team a 6.4 out of 10. Never mind. Your running back 2 scare me. When you do get a better running back 2, this team can easily be a 7.4 plus. Shout out to you, Nevermind, for being here. I appreciate you. We're gonna go to Blue's team next, guys. Blue, welcome, my brother. I do see you have done trades, and I do like that for you. If we take a look at your team, right? You do have your future first-round picks. That's always a good sign, guys. Having it is always a good sign. All right, with that being said, if we take a look at Blue's team, right? He drafted at the 1/6. He moved up to draft Jamar Chase and to take JSN. He has Jalen Hurts, Matthew Stafford, and he doesn't have a quarterback 3. Weaker on the quarterback 3 room. Saquon and Derrick Henry are going to be phenomenal running backs, but why are your running backs so old? Jamar and Jason are going to be great wide receivers for you. Likely, like I said, conflicted with Theo Johnson there, but I don't mind it. Nico, DK, Mike Evans, great flex room here. Matthew Stafford is going to be great flex quarterback 2 for you. Jalen Coker, Woody Marks, Mark Andrews, Jalen Knoll, Caleb Johnson, Boot, Malik Washington, Tez Johnson. What I will say about this team is that it's a very solid team. But your running backs are so old, man. If Saquon or Henry gets hurt, right, who's going to be your running back 3? You don't have a running back 3 at the moment. Who's going to be running back 3 if one of these old heads gets hurt? Saquon's turning 30. Henry's turning 33. They're bound to get. It's not an if, it's when they get hurt. That really, really worries me right here. You don't have a quarterback 3, man. Stafford's turning 39 years old. You don't have a quarterback 3. Stafford gets hurt. What are you going to do? That worries me as well. What I would recommend for you is definitely trade up your future first round picks because you're competing this year, and maybe get another running back 3 plus a quarterback 3. So for example, what I'm thinking is maybe trade your future first and get a DeAndre Swift and maybe Sam Darnold. You know, trade your future first, second, and third and get a Tony Pollard and a Sam Darnold. You know what I mean? Or get a, you know, something along those lines, because Tony Pollard can still kick it this year. You know, he can still run. So that's what I would recommend for you, Blue. I like the team, but unfortunately, it does still scare me. I do like Nevermind's team a little bit more, so I'm gonna give this team a 6.3 out of 10, Blue. Still a very solid team. All right, we're gonna go forward to Brandon's team here next, guys. Brandon, let's see where you drafted here. You drafted here at the 110. It does seem like you made a lot of trades, and I really do like that for you. All right, if we take a look, man, you have 1, 2, 3. You have 3 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and 2 third-round picks. I really like that. I hope you didn't draft old heads here, right? I hope you kept your identity, right? Let's go ahead and take a look here. Sometimes people try to do a little too much, and simplicity is the best, guys. Don't forget. Brandon, Dart is going to be a great quarterback for you. You have Kyler Murray and Daniel Jones. I don't understand your quarterback room. I don't understand it. Murray's turning 29 years old, and then Daniel Jones is coming off of Achilles injury, turning 30 years old. Okay, in my opinion, if I were you, man, I definitely would have went, instead of Kyler Murray here, man, I would have won Shook. I mean, never mind. Shook did get taken. I would have won someone with more upside here personally. I would have traded this away, and maybe took Bryce Young. So maybe I would trade away Kyler Murray and take a Bryce Young here instead of Daniel Jones here, right? Oh, man, I don't understand. You're clearly playing for next year, and these 2 quarterbacks right now, I don't know how much I love them as your quarterbacks, but the quarterback room is phenomenal so far. Judkins and ETN, like, why are we drafting ETN? You know what I mean? He's just so old. He's turning 28 years old. You don't need an old. You have 3 future first-round picks. Good running backs though. Justin Jefferson, Luther Burden, good wide receivers. Burden does worry me. I tell everybody this. What makes you pick him at the 411 over Ladd McConkey? What makes you pick an unproven wide receiver playing with the Bears over Ladd McConkey? That's a very bold take. Kyle Pitts is going to be a good tight end. Marvin Harrison, Mekhi Lemon, and Jordan Addison. Look, man, Marvin Harrison has not proved he could be the one. Mekhi Lemon has not caught a pass yet. Jordan Addison is competing with Juwan Jennings, TJ Hawkinson, Justin Jefferson, and is having Kyler Murray throw it to him. How much is he going to do here? Right? You have Stowers, you have Kittle, Dobbins, Shakir. Guys, please stick with an identity. Stick with, yes, competing and having future draft picks sounds so fun. Everybody wants to do that. But you want to stick with an identity so then you can dominate. Not just hope to win, so you can dominate. All right? Stick with an identity. When you have future first round picks, like 3, for example, draft some younger people that can be amazing next year, like a Jaden Higgins. You know what I mean? Just there's no reason why we should be taking Etienne. There's no reason why we should be taking old quarterbacks like Kyler Murray and Daniel Jones either, or George Kittle, for example. We have Kyle Pitts. Why are we taking George Kittle here? Why are we taking J.K. Dobbins? It does not. Why are we taking a Khalil Shakir? It's not making a lot of sense. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, because it doesn't have its identity, I'm gonna have to give this team a 5.8 out of 10. It needs an identity. It does not have an identity. The team is confused with what it wants to do. You as the coach of that team, you know, you could be like, hey, you know what? Team, we're competing this year. It's like let's just say the Rams, right? The Rams, right? Hey guys, we're competing this year, right? But we're drafting Ty Simpson. What sense does that make? Or you know, or the Rams, you know, hey, we're competing this year, but we have 3 future firsts next year. So let's not even use the 3 future firsts. What did they do with 3 future firsts? They traded for Garrett Wilson. No, not Garrett Wilson. Myles Garrett. I'm sorry, guys. Myles Garrett, right? They used their future first round picks to win now. That's an identity. They have an identity. Okay? So make sure you guys have an identity in these squads. Have a vision of how you want your team to be. Okay, that's very important. Having a vision of how you want your team to be. Very important, guys. Unfortunately, I don't see the vision with this team. 5.8, Brandon. Shout out to you for being here. I do appreciate you. We're going to go to 61 now. There's a lot of people in 61 that want reviews, so let's go ahead and take care of those people. For League 61, we're going to start off with Huffinator here. Huffinator does not have his future first round picks. Huffinator does seem like he has made trades as well. Huffinator has Caleb Williams and T-Law as his quarterbacks 1 and 2, and he does not have a quarterback 3. That worries me. Like I told you guys, I don't care if you have Josh Allen and Drake May, you need a quarterback 3, guys. It's very important having a quarterback 3 in a super flex league. Tell this to everybody. Devon Achane and James Cook, I love those running backs for you. Go ahead, come in. What? Yes. Welcome. All right. Malik Neighbors and Rome Odunze. All right. I love that wide receiver squad as well. Sam Laporta is going to be a great tight end. And you have Josh Jacobs, Jake Ferguson, Quentin Johnston. Those are going to be amazing flexes for you. Just give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. Tiana, you need help? You know how to turn it on? All right, guys. I'm sorry about that. My cousin came in my room. All right. With that being said, Josh Jacobs, Jake Ferguson, Quentin Johnston. I don't know what I said before that, but that flex room does worry me, man. Jacobs is battling with a legal dispute. Ferguson is a tight end that kind of fell down off the hill. You know what I mean? After the 21 points, 8 points, 11 points, 11 points, 8 points, 10 points, 3 points, 4 points, 7 points. If Lamb and Pickens are healthy, Ferg is kind of useless. Unfortunately, as much as I hate to admit it, if Lamb and Pickens are healthy, Ferg is kind of useless. Quentin Johnston, I'm still undecided. Is he a bust? Is he not? What is he? What is his vision? You know what I mean? So these 3 flexes do worry me. You have Cortland Sutton. Guys, why do we keep drafting Khalil Shakir? I don't understand what Shakir has done for him to be drafted. I might be the biggest Shakir non-believer you will ever meet. What has Shakir done? Yes, he gets a lot of yards per catch, right? But what has he done to be like, yeah, I want to go ahead and draft him? Last year he was the 1 and he barely did anything. He barely did anything last year as the 1. Now he's going to be the 2 with DJ Moore being there, with Tyler Kincaid having another year in him. Doesn't make sense. You don't have a quarterback 3 either. What I will say is, man, your running backs are phenomenal. Your wide receivers are phenomenal. Your tight end is good. Your quarterback 1 and 2 is solid, but you're lacking quarterback 3 here. Your flexes are lacking. Your bench is lacking as well. I don't see any upside. You kind of drafted old heads for some reason, and you don't have a future first either. This is a win now team, but unfortunately, it needs a lot of improvements for it to be a win now team. I would trade away Caleb Williams or Malik Neighbors and try to improve my flex room for sure, because I'm not going to trust Cole Shakir. Sutton, maybe I'll trust him for a game or 2. Schultz, I'm not really going to trust him either. Diggs is not even on the team right now. I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10. 5.5 out of 10, Huff. 5.5 out of 10. All right, Greg, let's go ahead and take a look at your team. Greg does not have his future first round pick. Guys, I never understood why people only trade away. Like, let's go ahead and pull up Greg's team, right? Greg is here at the 1-9, right? My question is, what is the point of just trading your future first? Clearly, you're trying to compete, right? You're trying to compete. So go ahead and trade all your futures so then you can have a better team now. Because what is a second in the future going to do when you want your team to compete and you don't have a first? You know, yes, I get it. It sounds nice having future first. But at that point, you want to make sure you do the right things because you need to have a vision for your team. with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at Greg's team. He did move up to get Jameer Gibbs here at the 1-2. I love that for you. Dak Prescott, Tyler Shaw, and Malik Willis. Perfect. Beautiful, beautiful quarterback room. Gibbs and Henry are going to be great running backs. I don't mind Henry on your team as long as you have a young talent on your running back room. Justin Jefferson and Ted McMillan, amazing wide receivers. Juwan Johnson is going to be competing with Noah Fant. He's going to be all right, not amazing. Devontae, DK, Chris Godwin. This team has a vision. This team has a vision of competing now. I love that. I love that for you. Rashad White, Tony Pollard, AJ Barner, Jalen Naylor, JJ McCarthy, Jerry Jeudy. I like this team. I like the fact you went ahead and took your guy with Jameer Gibbs. You traded up in the first round to go ahead and take him. I like the fact you have your 3 quarterbacks. I like the fact you have good running backs. I like the fact you have good wide receivers. I like the fact you have, yes, they're on the older side, but I like the fact that you stuck with that. Now, when you have older guys here, your bench can't be old as well. Your bench cannot be old. You cannot have a 30-year-old Tony Pollard, a 28-year-old Rashad White. You cannot have those. You cannot have those. You have to draft for upside on your bench when you have this much old people on your roster. Exactly when you don't have a first in the future round as well. What I would say is trade away your second and third right now. Get some upside players. Maybe trade away Tony Pod, Rashad White, and a second and a third and get some upside players. With that being said, still a solid team. Unfortunately, the bench is extremely lacking. I'm going to give it a 6.0 out of 10, Greg. 6.0 out of 10, my brother. All right, we're going to go to Adtreat next. Adtreat, welcome, my brother. Let's go ahead and look at your team. All right, Adtreat, it does seem like you made trades. Guys, I'm glad you guys are taking account the fact that you need to make trades for your teams to be solid, guys. If you don't make trades, it's going to be a bad team. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 first-round picks, amazing. 2 second-round picks in 2028. I mean, first-round picks in 2028 is phenomenal as well, guys. With that being said, though, okay, with that being said, I hope you don't draft old people here. I've seen it too many times, man. Bo Nix is going to be a great quarterback. Mendoza, Kyler Murray. I don't like the Kyler Murray pick. I don't think you need a Kyler Murray. Why are we not drafting Bryce Young over Kyler Murray? Why are we not drafting Bryce Young over Kyler Murray? Does Keep Trade could have Kyler Murray over Bryce Young? Keep Trade. So that means the million people that do use Keep Trade Cut have Bryce Young over Kyler Murray. And not only is your team on the young side, you took an older quarterback as your quarterback 3 when you could have took a younger quarterback that people value even higher. Does not make sense to me personally. Your running backs, Blake Corum, Jonathan Brooks, they'll be better next year for sure. I like that for you. Jason, Jordan Tyson are going to be great wide receivers. Sadiq, I'm out on Sadiq, guys. I think he'll be a bust. He's just an athletic freak. I don't think he'll do much. If you've seen his college tape, if you've seen his college stats, he's just an athletic freak. He's not really a tight end like Brock Bowers is. You know what I mean? So be careful with that. Bird and Cooper, Worthy, they should all have solid games next year. This year it might be a little bit on the slower start. JCM, Dylan Sampson, Tyler Eggert. What I love about this team is that it's stuck to its vision. You know for a fact you have 6 first-round picks in the next 2 years, right? So you don't need to draft old people. You don't need to compete this year. Let your team get more experience next year. Draft some upside players. But Kyler Murray confuses me. I think you should trade away Kyler Murray. Maybe try to get Bryce Young here as well and see how that goes. But I like the team, man. I'm going to give this team a 7.4 out of 10. It's stuck to its vision. Your quarterbacks are solid. Your running backs have upside next year. Your wide receivers are amazing. Your tight end has upside next year, even though I'm not a fan of him. But second-year tight ends are usually better than first-year tight ends. And your flexes have upside. Your bench with JCM, Tank Bigsby. You know, your bench could use more upside, to be honest. I'm hoping you know, instead of drafting a JCM here, I was hoping maybe you drafted Josh Downs or a Denzel Boston. You know, instead of drafting Tua, you don't really need Tua. Why not go ahead and take an Emmett Johnson? Why not go ahead and take, you know, take an Elijah Sherrod or a Travis Hunter? You know what I mean? So your bench could definitely use upside. So I'm gonna give it a 7.3 out of 10 actually because of the bench. But this is still a very solid team. Good drafting so far. Actually, good drafting, my friend. All right, weapon. Let's go ahead and take a look at weapons team. Weapon does not have his future first round pick, but has 2 second-round picks and 2 third-round picks. All right, guys. If we take a look at weapons team here, Weapon did make trades, but his trades, he went and go ahead and drafted Jadarian Price, and he lost a Jordan Addison or the 10-2 here, right? The 10-3, 10-3. All right, with that being said, right, let's go ahead and take a look at weapons team, right? Josh Allen is going to be a great quarterback. Will Jalen Hurts? Okay, guys, don't forget what I said last time, right? If you have 2 stud quarterbacks and you don't have a third quarterback, I don't understand what the point of it is, right? I don't understand what the point of that is. I personally don't love that. Etienne and Price are going to be phenomenal running backs. Pickens and Nico are going to be great wide receivers. Pitts is going to be a great tight end. Marv, KC, and Jalen Warren. This scares me right here. Personally, I can't trust KC week 1. And Jalen Warren's competing with Rico Dowdle. I can't fully trust that either. Marvin's also, can he be that guy? You know, your flexes are on the weaker side. I will say that for sure. Jaden Reed, Strange, Pittman, Woody Marks, Aaron Jones, Michael Penix. All right. I don't mind your bench. I don't mind your bench because your team is on the younger side. I don't mind you taking somebody like, you know, Michael Pittman and Aaron Jones. Just maybe they have that one last kick in them to really explode. But you are missing a quarterback 3, guys. Like I said, man, it takes one quarterback injury to just have your season be over. Especially when you don't have a future first round pick. Especially, look at last year, guys. Imagine you had Jaden Daniels and Lamar Jackson. Let's just say last year you had Jaden Daniels and Lamar Jackson. Right? And you don't have a quarterback 3. And you don't have a quarterback 3. And you have a great running back room, wide receiver room, tight end room, flex room, bench room, but you don't have a quarterback 3, you don't have a future first round pick, but you have Jaden Daniels and Lamar Jackson. And they shat the bed last year. You know what I mean? So, because they got injured. You can't control injuries. So you need a quarterback 3, guys. You need a quarterback 3. I always tell you need a quarterback 3. Very important, gentlemen. With that being said, this team is still pretty solid. I still like this team. I like the fact you got a future second and a future third for this team. I think I'm going to give this team probably, I like this team, man. I'm going to give it a 6.8 out of 10. I like this team. I'm going to give it a 6.8 out of 10. I still like what you did with this team. I like the fact you have an older running back and a younger running back. I like Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts a lot. Okay, can you close the door? Okay, so I do like that. I do like those for you. Your bench with Reed, Strange, Pittman. Like I said, I don't mind those whatsoever. A 6.8 weapon, good drafting so far. All right, we are gonna go to Will's team next. Will, let's go ahead and take a look at your team. All right, last but not least, right, Will? Let's go ahead and take a look at your team. All right, you don't have a future third round pick, nor do you have a future, 28 first round pick. Let me go ahead and do something here. All right, guys, while we wait, just give me 1 second. I need to go fix something real quick. Give me 1 second, gentlemen. Give me 1 second. I hope you guys are having a phenomenal day so far. All right, guys, 1 second. All right, guys, I am back. I apologize. I apologize. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take a look. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these teams here. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. All right, guys, sorry about that. All right, well, let's go ahead and take a look at your team real quick. All right, like I said, you don't have future first or in 27 or 28. That worries me a lot. That means your team should be the best team I have ever seen. And I also see a bad. Why are we drafting McCaffrey so early there at the 4-1? Saquon there at the 6-1 too. I see one with upside. I mean, a lot of, you know, elite talent like Saquon and McCaffrey, but they're on the older side as well. Your quarterback with Jordan Love and Jared Goff, and they have Jacoby Brissett and Geno Smith. I don't love that. I don't love that, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it. But what I don't love it more. Wild takes. Which one? Which one do you think is wild, Brad? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know which one you think is wild, my brother. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look. All right, Jordan Love, Jared Goff, Geno, and Jacoby. All right. Jacoby and Geno probably not going to play next year, right? You don't have a future first-round pick, second-round pick either, right? So what's going to happen with your quarterback situation? You will not have a quarterback 3. That's why I don't love it. Bijan and JT are going to be great running backs. But why are we taking JT so early? Why are we not taking a James Cook here instead, who's 26, over JT, who's 26, turning 28, right? They're in the same tier level. Maybe JT's just a tad bit better. Don't get me wrong. They're in the same tier level. In Dynasty, James Cook is, in my opinion, I would get James Cook over JT due to the age, personally. Amano and Mike Evans are going to be great wide receivers for you. Goddard has upside. McCaffrey, Saquon, Terry McLaurin are going to be great flexes for you. This is clearly a win-now team. I like you stuck to a vision, right? But if I stuck to a vision, trade your third, second, and third in 2028 as well. Go ahead and get some more upside players here. Parker Washington, Higgins, Hunter. Why are we drafting Hunter Henry? We have Goddard, Brian Robinson, Hurst, Tesla, Najee. All right. What I will say is your bench I do like with Parker Washington and Jaden Higgins, but Jacoby, Geno, Hunter Henry, you don't need those. You don't need those. But as a win-now team, this is a very, very, very good win-now team. This year, I'm definitely going to give this team probably an 8.7 out of 10 as a win-now team. Next year and the year after that, this is definitely going to go down to probably a 5.1 at most. Well, because of your quarterback room, because of Mike Evans turning 34 years old, because of McCaffrey turning 32 years old, because of Saquon turning 2 years old, 31 years old, Terry McLaurin turning 32. It's too many old people here. You need some old people, and then you need some young people with upside as well. So this year, I can see it winning the league, right, with an 8.7. I get it, but next year, you're going down to a 5.1 easily. So, and then the year after that, it's gonna go down even more. So when you guys draft a win-now team, guys, you guys have to make sure you draft some upside players, some young talent. You don't want to keep it all, high. For example, instead of Saquon here, you ought to have Christian McCaffrey and Jonathan Taylor. Draft a Jadarian Price instead. Where'd the price go? At the 7-7, bro. He went at the 7-7. Price went at the 7-7. Draft Jadarian Price over Saquon Barkley because you have JT. You have Christian McCaffrey. You know, you drafted Mike Evans. I get it. Then instead of Terry McLaurin, go ahead and draft a KC Conception. Go ahead and draft Kevin. Go ahead and draft an Alec Pierce who's younger. Why do you need Terry McLaurin? You already have Mike Evans here. You know, it just confuses me sometimes. Like, I like that you drafted Jaden Higgins here, right? But then you went ahead and drafted Jacoby Gino and then Hunter Henry. It doesn't make full sense. But like I said, this year is great. Next few years is going to be downfall for sure. Shout out to you for being here. I truly do appreciate you. All right, we are going to go to League 62 here, guys. League 62 here. Let's go ahead and take a look at League 62. All right, there's a couple of people that wanted to review here. We are going to start off with Tom's team. Tom, welcome, my brother. You have your future first round picks. You did not make any trades, guys. I always tell people, guys, when you don't make any trades, the team is going to be on the worst side. Personally, unfortunately, that's just how it goes. When you don't make any trades, guys, the team, unfortunately, is on the downfall. But with that being said, let's go. Tom is an experienced drafter, so let's see how he does. Joe Burrow, Caleb Williams, start. Perfect. This is what I mean when I say get a quarterback room, guys. You can't get a better quarterback room than this. Bucky, Dobbins, all right? I don't get the Dobbins pick here, right? I don't get the Dobbins. Yes, he'll get you those points, right? But he's 28. He's injury prone. I don't love that for you. Olave and Tate are going to be great wide receivers. Godson is going to be a decent tight end. David Njoku is there, so I'd be a little concerned with that. Brian Thomas, Jaden Higgins, and Mike Evans, right? This concerns me now, right? Brian Thomas and Jaden Higgins, you can't really trust them this year. Mike Evans, I get the vision, right? Then you can't trust Xavier Worthy, Tyrone Tracy, or Dylan Sampson. So you can't put any of these in your first two flex spots. Let's just say Brian Thomas does decent, right? You still can't trust Jaden Higgins because Tank Dell's coming back soon. And it's just, we don't really know how that's going to be. You know, Jalen Noel's still there. It's just, is he going to be that guy? You know, Nico's definitely going to be the one, but are they going to be, is that offense going to be solid enough for it to, you know, do two wide receivers that well? So it worries me with Jaden Higgins. And then Worthy's, you can't trust Worthy either. But he does have upside. Tracy, Sampson, Caleb Johnson, Io Minor, Tank Dell. I like the fact that you drafted upside. I really like that. Your quarterback room is phenomenal. Your wide receiver room is amazing. Your tight end needs work. Your running backs need work. And your flexes need work. I would suggest trading, man. I would definitely suggest trading. Unfortunately, I would give this team a 4.9 out of 10. I do like the fact that you have such solid quarterbacks as your base. But what I would say is, man, try to trade away maybe Joe Burrow, Caleb Williams, or Jackson Dart. Get a lesser quarterback, and maybe you can get a better running back. That's what I would recommend for you. But trading is very important, guys. Make sure you guys trade. Trade. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Balt's team here. Balt is next. Balt has his future first-round picks as well. Where's Balt at? All right, at the 111 here. Mahomes is going to be a great quarterback. Mendoza and Stafford. All right. I don't mind that whatsoever. I really don't mind that. You have an old quarterback with Stafford, but then when Stafford's retired, you have Mendoza. You have a future first-round picks in case you need a third quarterback as well. This is a beautiful team so far. Okay. Tudor and Harvey. I don't like those. I don't really need to explain why I don't like those, right? Because Harvey, like, you guys know this already, right? Harvey's in the running back committee. Tudor is unproven. Jefferson and Ladd are going to be great wide receivers. Trey McBride is going to be an elite tight end. Mikal Lemon, Jaden Reed, and Chris Godwin. I'm not excited. Let's just say that. I'm not excited to hear those names in my flex room, okay? You have Tyler Algier, Mark Andrews, and Braylon Allen with Trey Harris. Why do we need Mark Andrews? We have Trey McBride. You know what I mean? I don't think we need Mark Andrews there. He's turning 31 years old. I really don't think we need him. Yes, he's gonna be the tight end one there, but I think you could have drafted other players there as well. Instead of Mark Andrews, go ahead and draft, Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason would have been perfect for you, or Rashad White, because you have two running backs that are questionable, right? In a questionable situations, Tuden, RJ Harvey. I would easily take a Jordan Mason there instead of either of them. But with that being said, Tyler Algier, Mark Andrews, Braylon Allen, Trey Harris, Kate Oden. What I will say is the running back rooms are very weak. The flex room is iffy, and the bench needs a lot of work. With that being said, the quarterbacks are very solid. The wide receivers are amazing. The tight end is elite. I'm probably going to give it a 4.2 out of 10. Bald. 4.2 out of 10. I think I'm not sure exactly what you're trying to do. Are you trying to play for next year? If you are, why are we drafting Godwin and Stafford? If we're trying to play for this year, go ahead and trade your future first round pick and get, a better player. This team also didn't trade. Like, I didn't even see that it didn't trade. I didn't even see that this team didn't trade, and I gave it that score because when teams don't trade, guys, they're not good teams, guys. Unfortunately, they are not good teams when the teams don't trade. All right, and then last but not least, Jaden wanted a review here as well. Where's Jaden at? Here. All right, Jaden does have his future first round picks. I hope Jaden traded. Jaden also didn't trade. I guess this wasn't really a big trade league. You know what I mean? Now that I take a look at it, Combo didn't trade. This is very uncommon. Honky didn't trade. So I'm guessing a lot of players didn't trade. But I also see, Huff traded. So the trades could be made. The trades could be made. All right, Jaden. Purdy, Kyler, you don't have a quarterback 3. Weak. Hampton, Javante, you don't have a Rico. I'll give it a pass for this year. Not for next year. For this year, I'll give it a pass. All right. Solid is what I'll say. Jamar, Nico Collins, Rashi Rice, Casey, Jordan Addison. All right. I like that. I like the fact you have elite wide receivers, Jamar, Nico, and Rashi Rice. I like the fact you have upside with Casey and Jordan Addison. Unfortunately, Casey and Jordan Addison, I don't know if you can trust them this year at all. So your flexes are on the weaker side for sure. Jonathan Brooks, Woody Marks, Bernard, Jacoby, Juwan Johnson, Darnell Mooney, and then, more upside players. What I would say is your flexes worry me a lot. You can't fully trust Jacoby either as your quarterback 3. I would recommend you trade away your future first round picks and grab somebody, or trade away Jamar Chase and grab, a better flex room. 2 flexes, maybe a wide receiver and a running back, or a wide receiver, something, because you need a better flex room for sure on this team. But so far, I like this team more than Tom's team and Balt's team. For that reason, I think I'm gonna give this team a 5.0 out of 10. Unfortunately, no trades. It doesn't end up being amazing. All right, let's move forward, guys. League 63. Unfortunately, no one wanted a review here, so we're just gonna go ahead and skip this league. For 64, we had Jams that wanted a review here. Jams, let's go ahead and take a look at your team here. Jams traded away his future picks here. Let me see one thing, guys, real quick. One thing. All right, perfect. All right, James does not have his future first in 27 or 28. So let's go ahead and take a look at what he did with this team, right? So he should have an amazing team here. He should have an amazing team here. Team. One sec, guys. One sec. Why does it say Team 6 here? Does anyone know why it says Team 6 here? Is that a glitch? Is that a glitch here, guys? Does anyone know? Is that James's team too? No. This is James's team. All right. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at James's team real quick. James, Bo Nix, Mendoza, Jordan Love. Phenomenal. Chase Brown, Travion Henderson, great running backs for you, but Travion is a little concerning this year. I would have personally, if in your case, because you don't have future first round picks, I would have drafted Kenneth Walker there instead of Travion Henderson. Malik Neighbors and Ted McMillan are going to be great wide receivers. Ferg is going to be a good tight end there. But like I said, if Pickens and Lamb are healthy, it's going to be worrisome. We're saying, as getting him at the 9th round is not a bad pick at all for you. Judkins, Jalen Waddle, Jaren Price, great flex room. Great flex room. You have Christian Watson, Matthew Golden, Devontae Adams, Jalen Warren, Journey Bernard, AJ Varner, Aaron Rodgers. You kind of screwed yourself here. You know what I mean? I like the fact you went with Christian Watson and Matthew Golden. Old, young. I like the fact you went with Devontae Adams and Bernard. Old, young. You know what I mean? But now you don't need Jalen Warren here. You have Christian and Judkins and Jadarian Price. Jalen Warren's you don't really need him. Aaron Rodgers, you don't really need Aaron Rodgers here. You don't really need him at all. You have Jordan Love here. You know what I mean? Mendoza's going to play later on when the bye weeks happen. He's going to be playing. You don't need Aaron Jones there. So your bench is kind of lacking because you kind of played a little too safe on your bench. You know what I mean? A little too safe on the bench. But with that being said, this is a very solid team, especially because you traded your future first round picks. What I will say is, even though you traded your future first round picks, this is still a very young team, man. You have Mendoza, right? You have Travion, you have Tet, you have Malik Neighbors, you have Judkins, you have Jadarian Price, you have Golden, you have Bernard. This is still a very, very solid team. I really like what you did with this team. I'm probably going to give this team probably an 8.2 out of 10. All right, I'm probably going to give this team an 8.2 out of 10. I really like what you did with this team. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at League 65, guys. League 65. 2 people wanted a review here. 2 people wanted a review here, guys. All right, guys, I think this is going to be the last league as well, unfortunately, just because I'm so, with the procedure and everything, with the surgery and everything, it's just a little on the tired side, unfortunately. But with that being said, League 65, we do have Popeyes and Lolly here. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Popeyes' team real quick. I'm sorry, I couldn't even find him, guys. I apologize. I couldn't even find Popeyes. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Popeyes' team. All right, he doesn't have a future 3rd round pick, but that's all right. That's all right. But he kept his first, second, third. All right, let's go ahead and see what he did with the team. He made a lot of trades. I love that. I absolutely love that. That is amazing there. All right, Josh Allen, Bo Nix, gonna be great quarterbacks for you, but you don't have a quarterback 3. That scares me. Kyron and Derrick Henry are gonna be great running backs for you. Ted and Brian Thomas are going to be great wide receivers, but Brian Thomas, like I said, scares me. Talon 1's going to be a good tight end. Then you have Tuden, Watson, and Eli Stowers, all right? I don't mind Tuden and Watson, but why are we drafting Stowers when we have Tyler Warren? The conflict of interest right there. We don't really need Stowers there. We have a solid team. Instead of Stowers here, why not go ahead and take a Josh Downs, a Quentin Johnston, a Jaden Higgins, a Mike Evans even? This team is competing. This team has young wide receivers with Ted, Brian Thomas, Christian Watson. So it's not going to hurt you at all if you take a Mike Evans here because you have 3 young wide receivers. You know what I mean? Charbonnet, Cortland Sutton, Trey Harris, JJ McCarthy, Goddard. Now we're going a little bit too old. You know what I mean? We don't need Sutton, Goddard, and Brissett, and James Conner. We don't need those on our bench, that many old people. If you just drafted a Mike Evans here and then just took upside on here, that would have been perfect. Perfect. With that being said, you do have your future first, so you can do a lot with this team, man. You can, if you want to tank, if you want to go, but you do have Derrick Henry here. It does seem like this team is competing. I would definitely try to see if I can get a better flex 3 than Cortland Sutton. And in case if there's an injury, who are you really going to play? You can't really play anybody else besides Cortland Sutton there. So I would try to get a better quarterback. I would try to get a quarterback 3, and I would try to, I know you have Jacoby, but you can't fully trust Jacoby. And I would try to get flex 3 as well, guys. With that being said, this is still a solid team. You have your future first round picks. I'm going to give it a 6.6 out of 10, Popeye. 6.6 out of 10. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at Lolly's team here real quick. Lolly does seem like he made a trade. He moved up to get he moved down to get Ashton Genty from Bijan Robinson. Let's go ahead and see how that works out for him. Wow, he has one, two, three, four first round picks, two second round picks, one, two, three future 28 picks as well, three future 28 second picks. He has he has a 2029 pick as well, guys. Wow, Lolly's rookie. He's a rookie fiend, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at his team. If he drafts old players, I'm giving up. Herbert, Genty, and Devon Achane. Beautiful. Herbert, T-Law, Mendoza, amazing quarterback room. Genty, Devon Achane, great running back room. Makai, KC, love that for you. Max Clare as your tight end, you're not competing this year. Amazing. And Claire could be the guy for the Rams. Cooper, Higgins, Coker, phenomenal. I love the upside there. Bernard, Fields, Lane, Jolly. Guys, this is what I mean, guys. Please take notes. This is what I mean when a team has vision. Okay? He knows he's trading away. He's playing for future years. He knows he's not competing this year. He's putting his ego aside and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna play for next year and the year after that. He's putting his ego aside, so he drafts all upside team. And I love that. This is probably one of the best teams I've seen with the amount of draft capital you do have. I'm going to give this team an 8.8 out of 10, Lolly. Phenomenal, phenomenal team. You had a vision. You stuck to it. This team has an identity. I think you did amazing. I think your quarterbacks are very solid. Your running backs are solid. Your wide receivers are solid. It's like this team has a very solid base. Not only that, it has more future first-round picks where you can take even better players and plug them in there. I like what you did, Lolly. Great drafting. With that being said, 8.8, you get the highest review so far from all the leagues that I reviewed today. With that being said, guys, shout out to everybody for being here. I truly appreciate you guys. We are doing only up to League 65. We'll do League 66 plus either tomorrow or the day after that, hopefully. It's just, we just got, you know, we're moving one step at a time, guys. Still recovering, so hopefully we'll be better and healthier. But I appreciate you guys for being here. Shout out to you guys. And with that being said, I will see you guys at the next